In the last class, mode 1 operation of timer was explained. Let us go through few example programs. Given that the crystal oscillator frequency is 11.0592 MHz, a program has to be written to generate a square wave of 2 kHz frequency on port 1 pin 5 using timer 1 in mode 1. Let us recall the concepts, how to calculate the value that has to be loaded into the timer. So mode 1 operation means it acts as a 16-bit timer. Let us go through the concepts quickly. Given the oscillator frequency, first we have to calculate the timer frequency. We know that the timer frequency is 1/12 of the oscillator frequency. To calculate the timer period or delay, we have to take the inverse of the timer frequency. Okay. Then we have to calculate the value of n. N is given by required delay by timer delay. So delay required will be given in the problem, and the timer delay has to be calculated. Then we have to calculate the value that has to be loaded into THTL register. The value that has to be loaded is calculated using the formula maximum value plus 1 minus n. So in mode 1, the maximum value is 65,535 plus 1 is required for overflow to occur, minus n value is already calculated. So while calculating, you need to be careful, take all the values in hexadecimal or all the values in decimal. So here we get the value of YYXX. XX is the value that has to be loaded into TL register, and YY is the value that has to be loaded into TH register. That is, XX is the lower byte and YY is the upper byte. So in the problem, the oscillator frequency is 11.0592 MHz. So we have already calculated, we have seen it in the last class. If the oscillator frequency is so much, then the timer delay is 1.085 microseconds. Then we need to calculate the delay that is required. So here it is given that we have to generate a square wave of 2 kHz. When I say a square wave, it has a logic high as well as a logic low signal. So both has to be generated. So take the inverse of this 2 kHz. You get the time period as 500 microseconds. So for this 500 microseconds is the total time period of the square wave. That means for 250 microseconds duration, a logic high signal has to be generated, and for another 250 microseconds, a logic low signal has to be generated. As per the formula, we need to calculate the value of n. Value of n is given by required delay, that is 250 microseconds divided by the delay of the microcontroller, that is 1.085 microseconds. So the value obtained is 230. This is the value of n. To calculate the value that has to be loaded into THTL register, the formula is maximum value. Maximum value in mode 1 is 65,535 plus 1 is added, hence the value is 65,536 minus n value is 230. So we are getting the value as 65,306. This is the value in decimal. This value has to be loaded into THTL register, or if you convert it into hexa, the value is FF1A. So FF value has to be loaded into TH register, that is the upper byte, and 1A, which is the lower byte, which is loaded into TL register. So with this, the computational part is complete. Then we have to write the program. It is said that timer 1 in mode 1. So first we have to calculate the value that has to be loaded into TMOD register. Since we are not using timer 0, the lower nibble is 0 and the upper nibble is 1. So this indicates timer 1 in mode 1. we have already calculated the value that has to be loaded into timer 1. So since we are using timer 1, we have to use TH1 and TL1 register. It is loaded with the appropriate values, that is FF is loaded into TH and 1A is loaded into TL. The next step is we need to start the timer, that is timer 1 run control bit has to be made 1. So that is done using the instruction set bit TR1. So once the timer is started, continuously we need to monitor if there is an overflow. If there is an overflow, that indicates that a delay of 250 microseconds is generated. So once there is a delay, then the next instruction will be executed. First is that we need to stop the timer. So we need to, the timer is stopped using the instruction clear TR1. Then suppose the previous value in port 1 pin 5 is 1, now it has to be 0, or if it was 0 earlier, now it has to be 1. So we are complementing the value that is there in port 1 pin 5 using the instruction CPL. This is done because a square wave has logic 1 as well as logic 0. So for 250 microseconds, a logic high signal has to be generated, and for another 250 microseconds, the logic low signal has to be generated. So next we have to clear the timer overflow flag, because now let me assume that logic high signal is generated. Next logic low has to be generated. So to repeat the task, timer overflow flag has to be reset to 0. That is why we are clearing the TF1 flag. Then we need to repeat the process. What we have to do? Once again we have to load TH and TL with the appropriate value. So we use the instruction sjump again. So it comes back to the loop. This is how continuous square pulses are generated. Let us look into one more example. This is similar to the previous example. The only difference is here a square wave of 50 kilohertz has to be generated, and this signal has to be generated through port 2 pin 3. So coming to the calculation part, since it is, first we have to calculate the timer delay. Here we know the frequency. So inverse of frequency gives you the timer delay. So total delay is 20 milliseconds. That means for 10 milliseconds duration, a logic high signal has to be generated, and for another 10 milliseconds duration, a logic low signal has to be generated. And since the crystal oscillator frequency is 11.0592 megahertz, the timer delay will be 1.085 microseconds, which we have already calculated. Next, we need to calculate the value of n. Value of n is given by required delay, that is 10 milliseconds divided by the delay offered by the microcontroller, which is equal to 1.085 microseconds. So the value obtained is 9216 in decimal. Okay. So now we have to calculate the value to be loaded into THTL register. So maximum value plus 1, it is 65,536 minus n value, which is 9216. So the value in decimal, the result in decimal is 56,320, and if you are converting it into hexa, you get the value as DC00. So 00 has to be loaded into TL register, and DC is a value that has to be loaded into TH register. Coming to the programming part, TMOD is loaded with #10H, that is immediate addressing mode is used, and 10 indicates that the timer 1 is used in mode 1, and TH1 and TL1, which indicates that it is timer 1 that is being used. It is loaded with DC and 00 respectively, and the next step is to start the timer. So timer is started using the instruction set bit TR1. Once the timer is started, timer overflow flag has to be continuously monitored using JNB instruction. Once there is an overflow, then it will come out of the loop. The control will come out of the loop. indicating that the required delay is reached. We have to start the timer using clear TR1 instruction. That means we are going to make the timer run control bit 0. Then we have to complement the value that is sent through port to pin 3. Port to pin 3, it is used as an output port. Suppose logic 1 is sent earlier, then we have to send logic 0. So we are using complement instruction. Then we have to clear TF1 for the next round. Then we use a loop instruction, that is sjump again, because TH and TL value has to be reloaded. Let us move on to mode 2 operation of the timer. In mode 1, timer acts as a 16-bit register. We need to load TL as well as TH register. Whereas in mode 2, a timer acts as a 8-bit register. So we have to load only the TH register. Okay. The speciality of mode 2 operation is that it is also called as auto reload mode. That means whenever there is an overflow, whatever value is there in TH register, that will be reloaded into the TL register. Okay. So here in the block diagram, you can see that the timer frequency is oscillator frequency divided by 12. Then we have to start the timer. The timer is started by making the timer run control bit 1. Here in general it is written as TR. This TR can be either TR1 or TR0. Then TL gets a value that is present in TH register. So in mode 1 operation, we load TH as well as TL, whereas in this case we load only the TH register, and whatever value is there in TH register, the same value will be loaded into the TL register. Then continuously we need to monitor to check if there is an overflow. Once overflow is detected, that means the required delay is achieved. Then automatically TL will be reloaded with the value that is present in the TH register. Let us look into the programming part. So as mentioned earlier, this timer, it is a 8-bit timer. When I say 8-bit timer, the minimum value what it can hold is 00. Then upon receiving a clock pulse, the value becomes 01. Then the value becomes 2, 3, so on. And the largest value it can hold is FF. And for the next clock pulse, there will be an overflow. And once again, the value in the register becomes 00H. So whatever value is there in TH register, that is copied into the TL register. Then the timer will be started. The timer is started using the set bit instruction, and the instruction will be set bit TR0 if we are using timer 0, or set bit TR1 if we are using timer 1. So upon receiving a clock pulse, the value goes on incrementing till FF, and once it reaches FF, for the next clock pulse, the timer value becomes 00. So when there is an overflow, what happens is that timer overflow flag, that is TF flag, it becomes 1. Once it becomes 1, then what has to be done? Then whatever value is there in the TH register, that will be automatically reloaded into the TL register. Then we have to clear the TF flag for the next round. Let us see how to generate a time delay in case of mode 2. The steps are similar to mode 1. The only difference is in the maximum value that is taken, because here it acts as a 8-bit register. So the first step is same. We have to load TMOD indicating which timer is used, and we have to say it is working in mode 2 mode. Then we have to load TH register only. This is the difference in mode 2 as well as mode 1. In mode 1 we load TH as well as TL, but whereas here in mode 2 we just load the TH register. Then we have to start the timer. Then we have to continuously monitor if there is an overflow. If there is an overflow, then it has to come out of the loop. Then we have to clear the TF flag for the next round. Then we need to repeat the procedure. Coming to the calculation part, the timer frequency is 1 by 12th of the oscillator frequency. Then timer delay is inverse of the timer frequency. Calculate the value of n, which is given by required delay by the delay offered by the timer. Then we have to calculate the value that has to be loaded into the TH register. Here there is a difference in this particular step. Here the maximum value in mode 2 is 255 in decimal or FF in hexadecimal, plus 1 and minus n. So only difference is with respect to the maximum value, and you get a 1 byte answer. Let us look into a program where we are asked to program timer 0. We consider the frequency as 10 kilohertz and a square wave has to be generated through port 1 pin 0. And here the crystal frequency is 12 megahertz. Previously we have considered that the crystal frequency is 11.0592 megahertz, and hence we were getting the time delay as 1.085 microseconds. But here we have to calculate the time delay that is offered by the microcontroller. So timer frequency is oscillator frequency divided by 12. In this case it is 12 megahertz divided by 12, which comes up to 1 megahertz. Then we need to calculate the delay. Inverse of the timer frequency gives us the time delay, which is 1 microseconds. So required delay, it is given in the question that we have to generate a square wave of 10 kilohertz. So when we take the inverse of that, the total time duration is 0.0001 seconds. So here when I say a square wave, logic high signal has to be generated for a duration of 0.05 milliseconds, and for another 0.5 milliseconds a complement signal has to be generated. Initially if it is logic 1, then logic 0 signal has to be generated. If it is logic 0, then logic 1 signal has to be generated. Then we need to calculate the delay. The delay is delay required by the actual delay. Here the delay required is 0.05 millisecond divided by the delay offered by the timer of the microcontroller, which is 1 microsecond, and the count comes up to 50. And the value that has to be loaded into TH register, we are not loading TL, it is only TH register what we are loading. That is maximum value. In mode 2 the maximum value is 255 plus 1 minus n, which is 50. So here we get the answer as 206 in decimal or CEH in hexadecimal. So this value CEH has to be loaded into the TH register. Next we will proceed with the programming. Here we are saying that timer 0 has to be used in mode 2. So we have to program the corresponding bits of the TMOD register. Here the value that has to be loaded into TMOD register is #02H. Then the calculated value, that is CEH, has to be loaded into TH0 register. Then we have to start the timer and we have to continuously monitor if there is an overflow. When an overflow is detected, it will come out of the loop. So overflow is monitored by continuously monitoring TF0 flag bit. When it is 1, it is an indication that the required delay is achieved. Then it will come out of the loop. then the bit that is sent through port 1 pin 0 is complemented. In a square wave, we know that logic 0 and logic 1 are of equal time period. Okay, now let me assume that the previously value 1 was sent, then now bit 0 is sent. Suppose bit 0 was sent earlier, now bit 1 will be sent. Then we need to clear the timer overflow flag bit for the next round. Then we have to repeat the process so that continuous square wave will be generated. So here, see, we don't reload TH or TL register. Mode 2 is called as auto reload mode because we don't have to load a timer register. Whatever value is there in TH0 register, that will be automatically loaded into TL0 register when an overflow is detected.